To do it outside.
Oh, my, great. Oh, she said.
Outside.
You ready or not?
Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. To make us legal here, we have to read the following, so let me kick it off. On December 11, 2020, Governor J.B. Pritzker again declared pursuant to Section 7 of the Illinois Emergency Management Agency Act 20 ILCS 3305/7 that a disaster exists in Illinois as a result of COVID-19 pandemic. As such, per SB 2135 recently passed by the General Assembly, I, as mayor of Lamont, in accordance with the aforementioned declaration of emergency by the governor, finds that it is not practical or prudent to have an in-person meeting tonight. Additionally, for the record, this meeting is being conducted via the Zoom virtual platform. Notice that the same is given to the public, and the entire board is here in person, along with George Schaefer, our village administrator, among others. Again, this is all required via the newly amended act. So with that being said, I'd like to call the May 24th, 2021 Village Board meeting to order. Would you please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Charlie, can we have a roll call, please?
This evening, we'll be starting with trustee Maher,
Here.
McClafferty,
Here.
Shaughnessy,
Here.
Snagowski,
Here.
Stapleton,
Here.
Kittredge.
Okay, thanks, Charlene. Okay. Next up, we have the consent agenda, which consists of the following. With the approval of minutes, May 10th Village Board meeting minutes, approval of disbursements, ordinance O/26/21, amending the budget for the fiscal year 2020 and 2021 for the Village of Lamont. We have an ordinance O-27-21, amending Lamont Municipal Code, Chapter 5.04, Section 5.04.060, alcoholic beverages, increasing number of Class A3 liquor licenses. We have a resolution, R-2921, authorizing a reduction of a letter and credit for Marble Landing. We have resolution R-30-21 for the improvement under the Illinois Highway Code, use of Rebuild Illinois bond funds. We have resolution R-31-21 for improvement under the Illinois Highway Code for the use of motor fuel tax funds. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Okay, we have motion by trustee Snagowski, seconded by trustee Kittredge to approve on the consent agenda. Do you have any questions or comments by the trustees on the consent agenda? Okay, roll call, please.
Maher,
Yes.
McClafferty,
Yes.
Shaughnessy,
Yes.
Snagowski,
Yes.
Stapleton,
Yes.
Kittredge.
Okay, motion approved. Okay, next up, we have the mayor's report. To start, we have a request to recognize the month of May as the Motorcycle Month, Awareness Month, and June 4th as the National Gun Violence Awareness Day. Can I have a motion, please?
So move. Second.
Okay, we have motion by trustee Stapleton, seconded by trustee McClafferty. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Okay, motion carries. May is Motorcycle Awareness Month. As the weather is turning nicer, we remind drivers to be aware of motorcycles on the roadways and recognize the importance of motorcycle safety as we share the road with motorcyclists. Both motorcyclists and motorists need to be aware of their surroundings, checking blind spots, mirrors, and using turn signals when changing lanes and when passing. We urge residents to use extra precaution for not only motorcycles, but cyclists, runners, and pedestrians as well. This past Friday, the Cook County Department of Public Health announced that suburban Cook County is now in COVID-19 bridge to phase 5, reopening guidance with ease mitigation measures. Again, please check our website out for additional information. This is fluid. And we will continue to update as we find things out via the state. In addition, we have Chalk It Up Lamont, a free chalk art contest will be held May 29th through the 31st with 5 age groups ranging from age 6 and up. Registration is required. Please visit lamontparkdistrict.org for information and to register. Also, the Heritage Corridor Business Alliance will hold their car shows beginning Wednesday, June 2nd in downtown Lamont. Please visit their website at myhcba.com. Also, we have the Lamont Park District. They will begin their Movies in the Park on Tuesday, June 8th at dusk, showing Trolls World Tour in Covington North Park. Also, visit lamontparkdistrict.org for the movie schedule and more information. You know, when it's movie time, you know the weather's getting nicer. So I think we're all looking forward to the summer, and you know, this is starting to look a little like normalcy. So very excited about that. Also, please sign up to our e-news where we send out weekly updates of information. To sign up, visit our website and click on Stay Informed in the upper right corner or on the feature button. And event and meeting information is available on the community calendar on our website homepage at lamontil.us. So that's it for the mayor's mention. Next up, we have the clerk's report. Charlene, please.
Thank you. This evening, the first ordinance, if passed, would be ordinance O-28-21. And that's granting a variation to chapter 17.12.130 of the Lamont Unified Development Ordinance to allow a 5-foot fence height to be located within the corner side yard at 13370 Bond Circle in Lamont.
Okay, need a motion to approve, please.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Stapleton, seconded by trustees McClafferty. Is Jason or Mark helping us out on this? Mark?
Mark, go ahead, Mark.
Yes, thank you. The applicant, Scott and Brooke Pijor, they're the property owners of the subject property in the Kettering subdivision. They had applied for variations regarding the fence height and location of the fence. This item was discussed at the Planning and Zoning Commission hearing on May 5th. And the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended unanimously in favor of the variation request regarding the fence height, but not the location. This item was discussed at the May 17th Committee of the Whole meeting. Subsequent to that meeting, the applicants did formally drop the request as it relates to the fence location. So the ordinance in front of you today would solely approve a variation to allow the fence to be 5 feet in height as opposed to 4 feet, but the fence would otherwise comply with code for open fences and be 20 feet away from the street. Staff is recommending approval. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Any other questions or comments regarding this? Okay, roll call, please.
Trustee Maher? McClafferty?
Yes.
Shaughnessy?
Yes.
Snagowski?
Yes.
Stapleton?
Yes.
Kittredge?
Okay, motion approved.
The next item is a resolution. If passed tonight, the number will be R-32-21. And this is authorizing award of a contract for the 2021 MFT and Rebuild Illinois Bond Fund Street Resurfacing Program.
Okay, need a motion, please.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Shaughnessy, seconded by trustee Maher. Ralph, are you on?
I am, sir. I'll take this one. So this is for our 2021 MFT resurfacing program, but along with the MFT funds, we're going to be using $500,000 of the Rebuild Illinois Bond Fund and some money out of our infrastructure fund, $177,562.67. So there's actually 3 funding pots that we're pulling out of to get this project done. We will be resurfacing McCarthy Point, the whole subdivision, as well as Old Derby subdivision. The work should begin probably at the end of June and probably last 35, 40 days to get that out of the way. There were 8 bidders on this project, project, which was great news. We got a great price from K5 Construction at $952,000 and $562.67. So that's under the engineer's estimate of $1,220,263.15. So it's a great price. We're going to get a lot of paving done this year. It's going to be busy over in that area with the McCarthy Road project going on right now. But staff recommendation is to award the contract to K5 Construction for $952,000 and $562.67. Sorry about that.
Thanks, Ralph. Appreciate it. Any questions or comments by the trustees? Okay, roll call, please.
Trustee Maher?
Yes.
McClafferty?
Yes.
Shaughnessy?
Yes.
Zagowski?
To avoid even the appearance of a conflict of interest, I'm going to abstain from voting.
Stapleton?
Yes.
Kittredge?
Okay, motion approved.
I think that's all I have this evening,
All right.
yes.
Thank you, Charlene. All right. Next up, Mike, anything on the village attorney report?
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mike. All right, George, village administrator report.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for your patience today with the hybrid setup. I think in June we'll be ready to move back to the diocese and kind of get back to somewhat normal, although we're going to try to keep a Zoom platform available for residents or developers, staff even, to still continue to participate from home. But I think with the vaccination levels, we are in the bridge phase, as we kind of talked about last meeting. And then by June 11th, we should be in full phase 5. We're hopeful to get some guidance from the state. I know that they're finishing up a legislative session this week or next week on the continued use of a Zoom platform or virtual platform so we can efficiently hold meetings in the future. If people are out of town, or if just in general people would rather stay home and participate that way. So more information coming soon, but we'll get back to normal next meeting, which is June 14th. Probably, in June or July. I mentioned at the last committee of the whole meeting, I'll just make quick mention that we are going to be, our contract, our energy contract for residents, our aggregation contract with Constellation Energy will be coming to an end in October. A lot of history there. We can go through it when we get better numbers. But from this standpoint, we don't really need to vote on anything yet. We've asked our consultant, who's worked with the Will County Governmental League, to run some numbers for us. That doesn't cost the village anything. In June or July, we will evaluate the opportunity to enter into a new contract for our residents, or just let the program end and where all the residents will go back to ComEd for the supply portion of their bill. So still have plenty of options left, but if anybody was having that conversation tonight or wanting to have that conversation, not enough information, June or July, we'll have some information for the board to consider, and then we could potentially implement a new program to our energy supplier. So
Awesome.
That's all I have for
Okay,
my report, Mr. Mayor.
all right, thanks, George. Okay, do we have any board reports? Want to have anything, trustees? How about staff reports?
I do, Mr. Mayor.
So you want to go?
Yep. So I just want to remind everybody that the 2021-22 Village of Lamont vehicle stickers are on sale now. They will be on sale until July 31st when the prior ones end. Residents can purchase the sticker online on the village's website. This is the preferred method of payment or of purchase. There's no convenience fee. The village does not charge any kind of convenience fees for paying online. The vehicle sticker is valid from August 1st of 2021 till July 31st of 2022. And I kind of wanted to just mention some statistics that, what is how many we sell and what's our revenue and what is it used for. So last year, the village sold 11,500 stickers in the year, $633,000 in revenue. That revenue is dedicated for replacement of our snow plows, our street sweepers, our trucks, our police vehicles, and other capital equipment that is used for operations in the village. We are not a home rule community, and this kind of limits our other revenue options. So this is a large revenue of 633,000, but like I said, it is dedicated for capital equipment for the operations of the village.
Thanks, Chris. And again, to echo what Chris said, that 633,000 is what percentage of our entire capital budget is that, Chris? It's got to be a large percentage.
Well, for the capital equipment, that is what we budget for the capital equipment. This is not the CIP, that's not the capital improvement program. This is just capital equipment that we purchase. And basically, we are limited to that revenue that comes in.
And in the capital improvement, what is that budget as well?
It's close to it. It's probably about 100%, right? We might have to go over it a little bit, but squad cars, public works vehicles, we pull from other funds for public works, but it's about 100%, so it's good. It's a good funding source.
Yeah, and where I was going with this is that obviously we pass a sales tax to take care of infrastructure as well, and that's where I was going with it is our infrastructure, in addition to capital improvement, what is our infrastructure budget typically run at? I thought it was close to anywhere from, I believe it was close to $1 million, was it not?
Well, our annual infrastructure for this coming year is $5.4 million, but that's for the repavement of the streets, the water main.
Well, what's the village's out-of-pocket cost?
On a normal year, Chris, I think it's close to we do about $1 million worth of road projects. We have other funds, it's about $1 million to $1.5 million.
Yeah.
The point I'm making is this 633,000 is a huge chunk of money. I mean, this is, and again, without, home rule, which we heard loud and clear, this is something we have to continue to maintain. I know this is something that we heard people actually did want during the home rule discussion, and a lot supported it on an annual basis. So I know you will hear some feedback. Why do we continue to do this? Why is it not, on a biannual basis? But again, we're going by what we heard, 3 years ago when we were talking about home rule. So just want to echo that. I know it's not always a fan of, of all our residents, but some actually do appreciate it. And that's what we heard loud and clear a few years ago. So thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. Any other staff reports?
Yeah, I have a short one, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, Ralph.
Thank you. So the McCarthy Road construction project has begun. They're doing some storm sewer now. If you can avoid the area, be better off instead of getting stuck in the construction traffic. So if you can avoid the area, please do. And if you can't, drive safely through there. That construction is going to last a while. And another thing is we have begun our mosquito abatement program for the village. We have started putting Alticid tablets in storm drains and standing water. And just remember that the mosquitoes near your home usually hatch near your home. So remove standing water in your yard, in your gutters, and that'll be a huge help to our mosquito abatement program. That's all I have, sir.
Thanks, Ralph. Any other staff reports? Okay, all right. Well, any unfinished or new business? All right, with that being said, time to move to audience participation. George, you want to take that one?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's the time of the meeting where if anyone's in attendance or online, you can participate either remotely or in attendance. Matt, I don't know if you wanted to say anything or, if you wanted.
Podium.
Go to the podium, thank you. And while he's walking over to the podium, if anybody has any public comment from virtual crowd, please raise your hand. My screen up right now. You go to the Manage Participant tab, click Raise Your Hand, and I will call you up after Matt is done. So,
Everybody, good to see you again. I do have prepared remarks. It's two different topics. So the second one, I'm kind of operating as a bookend to some other people that wish to speak in between on the topic. Both of these things relate to the downtown area. Since opening in 2019, aside from being closed a few months during COVID, the Wags to Riches business, which is located in the same building as the new Bridge banquet facility, has unfortunately created an audible nuisance 6 days a week, from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m., depending on the day. This can be heard in varying degrees by the 20 residential and a few business units located at the lofts that are facing east. The closest residential balcony from Wags is only 15 feet away. Sounds that you might expect to hear when living in a downtown area: laughter and conversation, the trains, live music, parades, residential traffic. It's all welcome, and even occasional dog barking when people are walking their dogs. But the constant barking sessions throughout 10 to 12 hour periods each day are not something I or many others would consider as being acceptable. Even looking at different studies, barking dogs was found to rank the same as nails on a chalkboard in some studies, noises that are most annoying to humans over time. Title VI of the Village Ordinance, which is the animal section, mentions the purpose of Title VI is to, quote, provide security to residents from annoyance. And more specifically, the unlawful acts by animals section states that no person shall permit their pet to, among other things, bark, whine, howl, or make excess noises to cause a nuisance. And I'm guessing that was created with two residential units next to each other in mind, but the proximity of Wags to the lofts presents the same issue, so I would hope it could be treated the same, meaning they're in violation of Title VI. Here's a short taste of what it sounds like when all doors are closed at Wags. From my window on the 4th floor up, open a little bit, and the microphone inside. Get the idea. I've played clips like that for no less than a dozen people since this began, and not one has said to me, that doesn't sound too bad, it's just dogs doing their thing barking. Every single one has found it to be a negative, with a few stating they wouldn't want to live here if that was there. Which brings us to the first documented case of economic impact. I believe the trustees and mayor, you've received a letter that was sent either by email or through snail mail, I'm told, by a former lost resident. If you didn't receive it, let me know, I can reach out and have it sent to you. One excerpt that summarizes the negative impact states, as the weather, began to be nice, I was unable to open my windows during any work hours or even sit out on my balcony because of the incessant noise. We moved. One of the lead reasons that I decided to relocate was the Wags to Riches business. I know what this person means. If I had been looking into purchasing my loft and they had been in operation at the time, I'll be honest, I wouldn't have bought my loft. It's caused a lack of sleep and various levels of stress over the last couple of years. So how can we move forward? The business is expected to have barking throughout the day. It's what they do, which means the building acoustics and the location seem to be the issue. After speaking with Officer Camardo and Jason Berry on this the past couple of years, I feel it important to plead in a civil way before moving forward with legal options towards the business owner and or the landlord in the near future. Soundproofing is quite expensive, but could be an option. Relocation to another spot in Lamont is a sure way to resolve it, while also keeping the business in the village so they can thrive. But if there are other ideas, let's put those on the table too. So I ask, would you find it acceptable to live next to that? And are you willing to help? That's the one. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. And Matt, I'm unaware of the issue, but are the dogs are they outside, obviously?
That's inside with all 4 walls closed.
Got it. So there's no windows open, nothing.
Just my window is what that was recorded from. But 4 stories up, window open, they are completely shut.
And what did Camardo and Jason share with you? What was their resolution?
So initial, Camardo, I believe, spoke with them, and he said that their initial reaction was, oh, that's not us. There's a couple German shepherds on a balcony we see there. It must be them. So instant deflection there. Jason has talked to the landlord, but and said, let us know if it continues. That was months ago. I let him know it's not getting better. Obviously, why would it? You can't say just it's not.
Yeah.
I just, it's no use looking in the past at how we got here. It is what it is right now. The question is, I don't want to see this devalue things further. And as you can hear, it's not enjoyable, especially with more people working from home.
Well, let us circle. I mean, we hear you. Yeah. Let's circle back with.
Are they boarding overnight?
No, that's during the day. And I'll to be fair, what you heard, it's not, there is quiet, the dogs may nap for an hour or whatever, but it's throughout the day. That's what they do.
Is it dog grooming or training or
Training, just training.
just training?
Yeah. And so unlike, let's say you got your own dog that's brand new and young and crying and having separation anxiety or something, over time, hopefully that works itself out with some training. This is like school. It's just starting all over again. It's just constant new dogs.
New
all the
dogs.
time. So it's not a temporary, this is going away anytime soon.
Yeah.
So, and I know the downtown district is very open with what can be there. So it's a unique situation.
Kevin, go
A
ahead.
few years ago, we had a day spa next to a doggy place up by Aldi. They shared a common wall. So we have to look back and see how we resolved that issue. Because it did come up before with a business next, and that was, a day spa where people were in for quiet, So I can't recall what we did, but I'm sure when we talked to Mark and look at some of the things we tried there to resolve
We
that.
also had the dog place by
Fork and
Fork
spoon.
and Spoon, which I think that ended up being pressure from the landlord to the tenant. And so I guess and I did get an email from Jason on this. It sounded like the next step for you was you were going to contact the landlord. Have you made any contact that we can be there with you?
With Jason.
Yeah, okay. And we can help broker that to see what can be done. But to your point, I mean, soundproofing is pretty expensive, but that's,
Yeah, I mean,
We
I
can
don't
reach out
know.
with you.
Yeah, is there a noise ordinance? I don't know. I mean, but let us,
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
but no, Matt, thanks for coming in. and-
One other topic, and I think it So another quality of life item, but it affects more people and it's more well-known. It's not an easy ask because you have no direct control over it, but it doesn't mean it's not worth trying. And that's the awful screeching from the BNSF rail line. I know this has been talked about a couple of times, but let me humor me for a minute. To clarify for everyone on this meeting who may not be aware, there are two sets of tracks that run through downtown. Some people have confused them at times. The south tracks, which run directly behind Diggs and the Old Fault, those sound like you would expect. Engine rumbling, blowing of the horn when it approaches crossings, and the natural noise of the wheels to steel rails that you can stand a few feet from, not a problem. The north tracks, however, along River Street, owned by BNSF, and due in part to the curvature of the track, among other things, produces a high-pitched screech that's very different from the sound that comes from the Canadian National Line. Compared to a loud concert where you're still able, in many cases, to be without earplugs, the screeching of the trains traveling along this line many times results in feeling immediate damage to your ears if not covered or wearing plugs if you're standing along River Street or living along River Street. Many people are affected daily, but because of the planned developments coming online soon, along with the village having a better understanding of discussions with railroad companies and agencies due to the Walker Road Crosser project, it seems like the best time to assess the negative impacts that it's had on the area. Again, I'm going to play a small clip so you can hear, and again, coming off the phone, not quite the same, but so that's normal. That's what you would expect. There's nothing wrong with that.
Sound familiar, Dave?
So with that, let's turn it over. I believe you have a Caitlin and maybe Tom on there who want to talk about their specific experiences with this, and then I'll pack it up in the end. That's all right.
Thank you. Yeah, I see Tom. If you want to go ahead,
Yeah, how's it going, everyone? My name is Tom, obviously. I'm here with Matt to share my experience just living here with this train. My wife and I moved into this condo a little over a year ago. The location is great. It was right by the metro. I get to take the train downtown before COVID, of course. Pretty much since then, the train is incredibly loud every day, maybe 10, 15 trains a day. I'm sure any of you who've been on River Street know exactly how that is. In my specific case, my wife unfortunately suffers from some really bad migraines to the point where she has like visible scarring on her brain during like in CT scans. Because of how bad these are, like sometimes mid-migraine, that screeching will instantly trigger vomiting, which is, you can imagine how bad that must be. The noise makes our balcony unusable. It makes our windows unopenable. I've not opened the window since we moved in here. Just a couple weeks ago, in fact, just to try to help the situation, we had some soundproofing installed for 2 windows and a balcony door. It was about $4,000. And as far as the effectiveness of the soundproofing, it is great. The low frequency noises are almost inaudible, but that high pitched squealing cuts right through it. It's like unbelievable how easily it gets through those windows when no other sounds do. The engines themselves, like Matt said, no big deal. That only lasts a few seconds because they go maybe 40 miles an hour. They pass right by. But then you have like 5 or 10 minutes of squealing on that curve. And that's 24 hours a day. It like 2 a.m., 1 a.m., 3 a.m., doesn't matter. Sometimes you get woken up by the squealing. And I actually have gone as far as getting a decibel meter to measure this. And for reference, any noise over 110 decibels can cause legitimate hearing loss in under 2 minutes of exposure. And these trains are routinely over 120, 130 decibels from my balcony. And they last 5-10 minutes. So that's like pretty harmful to human health, I would imagine, as far as hearing loss. But yes, I'm not sure what the solutions are in this situation. The stuff I've talked about with Matt are things like setting a speed limit, maybe so they're not going 40 or 45 miles an hour along that curve. That might help. Maybe there's maintenance that they could do to the tracks. Maybe something's off with the tracks or the wheels. Beyond that, that would be everything I can offer. Again, we may not be able to do much about it because it's their tracks, but hoping we can do something, because my wife and I at this time are actually looking for a different home because it's not feasible for us to continue living here, even with the soundproofing. But yeah, that's my story. Thank you guys very much for listening.
Thanks, Tom.
Caitlin or anybody else?
I see Caitlin. Caitlin Anderson. Go ahead, Caitlin.
Hi, everyone. My name is Caitlin. Like Tom and Matt, I also live in the Front Street lofts. Now, I actually live on Front Street, so I am less affected by the screeching. However, the windows in which my office, where I work from home, they do sit and face that side of the tracks, and it doesn't impact on a day-to-day my work life. And honestly, I understand that with the pandemic, some of these problems are now amplified, whereas this was now less of an issue. It's become a higher priority of an issue. It affects my day to day as far as working with clients, being on the phone all day on a more less on the professional side of things, on a more personal level. It's undiagnosed. I'm sure I could get, if we ever needed to really go down, I could get a doctor's diagnosis. But I do have a case of tinnitus. And so anytime I need to go outside to take my trash out, go to my car, no matter the time of day, the train is always running, as Tom said, 24 hours, seemingly a day. And it does affect, in a very high pitched ringing in my ear will last hours on hours. And it seemingly never goes away. On top of that, I do suffer from migraines as well. It can be a challenge with the dog, and in truly any of the day-to-day chores you have to do, taking the trash out, going outside, getting my mail or whatever it is. that constantly, it can induce a migraine, a headache, and I'm basically unable to function as a person for that time period. I don't have as much, facts as Tom does. These are more of my personal anecdotes and how I'm affected in just my day to day, mostly with work and obviously on the personal level, but less so with work and more personally. That's all I had. I'm sorry.
Otherwise, I'll tie it up.
Okay, thanks, Caitlin.
Yep.
Has anyone spoken to the railroad?
Not that I'm aware of.
I mean, this has to happen in other communities, and, I'm sure we probably know what their response is going to be because we never get.
We could at least get them, but you guys understand, and I'm sure, Matt, how the food chain works, with railroads and tollways and, they're given, or they have been granted ultimate authority. These meetings, we approve, payroll, we approve, procurement, we fix roads and any influence that we do have, we will try to exert on the railroad. And it's something I could talk to Mike, our attorney. It is because there's no amount of money from our standpoint. On the other side, we talk about Canadian National and people who are residents in Uptown, Fordham, going all the way west to Timberline, that it's expensive, but there is a way to go quiet there. We can fund improvements. We've talked about that. And I think we're going to bring.
It's not going to solve this problem, though.
That's Canadian National. Yeah, but
That's a horn honking.
there is no
That's the
improvements
wheels.
that we could put into place. So it will be exerting influence on the railroad to see if they could slow down. Someone said grease the tracks. I don't know if that's even possible, but we can at least reach out. Maybe we'll have a better opportunity to get an answer than Matt will or the HOA. So we'll at least reach out.
The reason I brought this up now, it's always something to bring up, but over 100 new residents are soon going to call downtown Lamont home until it gets going or whatever happens there, right? Even sooner, you're doing that outdoor exercise pad. Is that still happening underneath the Lamont Road Bridge?
Correct, pending
Right.
that approval.
That's just steps from the BNSF line. And what good is getting a six-pack if you're killing your hearing at the same time? And then the acres to be developed in the outdoor activity space just north of that, the reclamation district. So that's other outdoor enjoyment area that people would be subjected to that. So to me, the village has more reason now to go at it and say, look, we got more people that are going to live here, more people affected than just 5 people next to the tracks type of thing. And that was my thought there. So hopefully tonight I just wanted to get these stories out there, bring it to your attention with some more real stories. And then if you do commit to discussing it with the attorney, of course, and if he advises that maybe there's an avenue here, commit to doing an audio study, because I do wonder if right off the bat, if something is in violation there that we're just not aware of, the starting point. Thank you for your time.
We'll look into it. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming out. And thanks, Caitlin and Tom as well.
It's a tough situation because the railroad runs on one side of the river for a while. Then they have to go make a pretty sharp turn to cross over that bridge, which is 125 years old, and then go back again. So that's the hard part, is that tight turn.
Yeah.
So
We'll say when it goes slower before it enters downtown. Yeah. That takes care of it.
I don't know if that would help, but it's worth your try.
Yeah.
Talk to the railroad.
This can't be, we're not the only community that's had this, so I'm just wondering what the precedent is or the avenue.
I've lived here 32 years, and that's always been the way it was down there. I know.
Has it gotten worse or better? Has it gotten any worse than 30 years?
I think it's about the same.
I mean, I've noticed it for the last few years I've been biking down there. I mean, it's loud. I mean, so.
There's technology that they can spend to reduce it.
Yeah.
If they want to spend it, there's some lawsuits that they're enforcing these railroads to do it. There are homeowners that are suing. I don't know, that's municipalities would do it though.
And to your point, there's a lot of money out there in rail. We're seeing at the federal level, we're trying to get our hands on a little bit of it for Walker, but there is federal funding. Maybe we can reach out to our consultants and just see if there's anything that we can partner with the railroad on, because if we told them to do something, they might not turn it right back on us, but we can partner together.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, is it even feasible for the town to say, hey, we have a speed limit for the trains? Is that something that we have authority to do, or the train just picks whatever speed they feel like going since they're on their own rail?
Even if we had home rule, I don't think. we can do
No,
that.
they're-
Railroad
You
takes
have no
precedence.
jurisdiction.
Federally,
That's their no, we have no jurisdiction over that.
we even during our events in the summer, when we used to have events, we would ask them to slow down during Heritage Fest, and a lot of times it's denied or ignored. I think they often, every now and then they will listen and they will slow down for that event. So maybe there's something we can reach out to our external affair guy.
Okay. All right. Okay, anyone else?
I did have, Kay Manning is on, and she texted me or messaged me she wanted to speak, but she can't figure out her mute. So I'm going to try, Kay, but if you're able to speak.
I can unmute myself. Yeah,
There you go.
I didn't have the raise your hand function on my Zoom program. So I just want to thank the mayor and the village board for proclaiming June 4th Gun Violence Awareness Day. By acknowledging gun violence is a problem, we'll honor and remember all the victims and survivors, and there's many families in Lamont that will take some comfort in that. Also, by acknowledging it, maybe we can start talking about prevention. And I'm not saying legislation, but I'd be happy to work with any entity, police, school board, health, that would want to know about any of the programs through every town for gun safety or Moms Demand Action, because there are some things we can do. There are like gun lock giveaways or buyback programs, because 4.6 million kids in the US live in homes with guns that are both loaded and unlocked. There's safety education you can give to parents at school, things like the Be Smart program to secure your guns in homes, and also ask if there are guns if your kids are going over to their house. Suicide prevention programs, because nearly 23,000 people a year die of suicide. So my name's Kay Manning. I'm a member of Moms Demand Action of the South Suburban Chapter. Feel free to reach out to me. And I'd love to work with anything, just because to let Lamont know that we hear you, we can step up and speak out and do something, because this isn't going to go away. It's in your news feed every day. And I appreciate you at least acknowledging that gun violence, you need to be aware of that. So thank you. June 4th, please wear orange.
Thanks, Kay. Appreciate it. Anyone else? George?
Not seeing any, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All right. Okay. With that being said, we are going into executive session under 2C1 for performance of an employee and appointment of an employee. Need a motion, please, to go into executive session. Okay, we have a motion by trustee Maher, seconded by trustee McClafferty. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Okay, that ends the public section, or the first public section of our meeting tonight. We will be going into closed session. Don't know if we will have any decisions. If there is a decision, we will go back into public session. So with that being said, want to thank everyone for joining us tonight, and also want to wish everyone a great week. So thanks again. Take care, everyone. And that ends our first part of our meeting for this evening.
Take a 3-minute break.
Yep.